Howdy, howdy, fellow football fans, and welcome back for some more game picks this week as part of the Far Out Football Podcast. Now, if you have missed the last couple episodes, you're going to be starting to see a lot of changes about this show. Where the reason you're only getting game picks is that a lot of our football content is being folded into the ONETA Show as we kind of retool that show and get ready for the new year. So, that's why we're only doing game picks, but I have them for you. Last week, 11-5, which means our total record, 147-74. I'm quite happy with that record right now. Hey, you can get 2/3 of the game right. Do it. Just do it, man. It's always worthwhile to have that in your bag of tricks, especially if this is a gambling exercise, which this kind of started as. So, we're going to start. We have a Thursday night game, 2 Saturday games, and a Monday night game, all with some intrigue to them. So let's start Thursday Night Football. It would be tonight as of release of this show. Denver at the Los Angeles Chargers. Los Angeles is favored 2.5. This is a really tricky one for me. The Chargers seem to be on a slight downslide, and Denver, no matter, even when they're trying to lose, can't lose right now. It's really strange. However, I think we can see a gutted out performance by the Jim Harbaugh-led Chargers that could be quite effective against Denver keeps beating these teams that have some flash or pizzazz but not a lot of consistency to them, such as Indianapolis with Jonathan Taylor dropping the ball, these big shots to A.D. Mitchell from Anthony Richardson, but yet they can't do anything consistently to make it worth their while. Whereas the Chargers are ground and pound, just punch you in the mouth, and I think that kind of works well to slow the game down in the Chargers' favor and not allow it to get to this weird frenetic pace that somehow Denver actually thrives on. I'm going to go Los Angeles in this one. I'm not super confident, but I'll take the home team. Now we're going to go to our Saturday games. We have Houston favored by 3 going to Kansas City. Houston is obviously favored because people believe Patrick Mahomes isn't going to play. As much as it would suck to not have Pat Mahomes the weekend before holidays really begin, and Christmas and a lot of other things, Hanukkah and Kwanzaa coming up and all these other things that people celebrate around the world. I think it's probably best if Pat sits this one out so he can actually play on true Christmas Day, because I will be devastated if that Netflix game, which is going to take a lot of my attention to a happy place during Christmas Day, if Pat can't play, I will be devastated. So if he does need to sit, I hope it's this one. Rest up for the playoffs. You don't need this win. You already are in the playoffs. And Buffalo, I understand they have the tiebreaker, but you don't inherently need to have home field advantage immediately. If you're the Chiefs, you've already shown you can win on the road or at home. Houston, the only other thing that's very concerning is Kansas City has a much better, or higher end, I should say, backup quarterback now. Not that they didn't before, but Carson Wentz, if you say Carson Wentz is your backup, people are like, oh, he can win you a couple games, which I think is worthwhile here. I think that's why Carson Wentz is a perfect option as a backup quarterback and can still have Kansas City winning this game. Houston's not the team people thought they could be. Myself included, I started to get sucked in a little bit earlier in the year. I've kind of backed off that. But Houston favored by 3. It's clearly because I think Pat's not going to play. I'm going to still take Kansas City here. I just think Kansas City's a better team. Straight up. Now, our other Saturday game, we go Pittsburgh is going to the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore is favored by 6.5. This is easy. I'm taking Baltimore. I'm given too many. I think Pittsburgh can pull it out. When I don't really believe in them, I'm done doing that. I think Baltimore really takes this one. I think Lamar is passing so incredibly well. I think Derrick Henry can force. I think the threat of Lamar's passing coupled with Derrick Henry at the line makes it so you have to play far more of a base defense against them, and it makes it easier for their offense to operate because everyone says put a spy on Lamar so he can't run. Okay, well he's passing really well, so that spy is almost useless. Then you put into the fact of, okay, well, we're going to go all out pass. Okay, well, then you're not going to stop Derrick Henry in the rushing attack, especially when Lamar scrambles then too. So I think with that offense working so well, it's going to help quite a bit. And Baltimore's defense still is not great, but I think they can do enough to slow down Pittsburgh. I will be taking Baltimore in this game. Stay away from the points, though. Don't take points. It's not worthwhile. All right, Cleveland at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's favored by 7.5. I'll be taking Cincinnati in this one. Cleveland is a shit show. Dorian Thompson Robinson will be the starter in this game, which I have zero issue with. If you think Jameis Winston can't do anything except throw picks unless it's prime time, don't play him. You have no future here in Cleveland. You may as well figure out what you have in DTR. He's shown flashes in the past of maybe being interesting. Starting quarterback, clearly not if he's there, but who knows? Maybe the future, things get crazy. I like DTR as a backup option and give him a little bit of a showcase to see if he can go elsewhere to get some work. Kind of Malik Willis-esque in Green Bay. But Cincinnati is scoring way too many points for me to think that they're going to lose this game. Now I know technically they're not eliminated from the playoffs. They're eliminated from the playoffs. They're not going to make it. But they're going to beat the shit out of Cleveland. It's just that simple. And of all the point spreads, I might take that one simply because I think that's how Cincinnati wins games. So we'll take Cincinnati. Giants going to Atlanta. Atlanta's favored by 8.5. This is tougher. I think this point spread was made before the announcement of Kirk Cousins being benched or Michael Penix. I know Kirk Cousins hasn't been playing well, but anytime you make a quarterback change to an unproven rookie, regardless if they're a first round pick or not, that is going to influence the point spread. So I think that's too high. I probably just didn't get to see a good updated one based off the news. However, I'll still take Atlanta at home. The Giants are just bereft of hope, in some ways of talent, which is crazy to say because they have some talented players there. It's clearly over for them, and they know it's over for them. And it's really hard to muster up some energy to go play against teams, and I don't really think the Giants as an organization want to win. I think they want the first overall pick, which they still have the reins on. So I think they're going to just ride with Tim Boyle and let it be and see what Michael Penix can do against them. And hopefully we can see some fireworks with Michael Penix connecting with some teammates down there. Maybe we could get Kyle Pitts to make an appearance. Who knows? Drake London to make an appearance. Get Bijan Robinson the ball a little bit more out of the backfield. But I still think Atlanta takes this game. Don't trust that point spread, though. And New England going to Buffalo. Buffalo's favored by 14. That's obvious. Buffalo will win this game. New England will be sad. It's going to be obvious. I don't need to go more into that one. All right, Arizona favored by 4.5. Going to Carolina. I will be taking Arizona. Maybe I saw Nick Wright say it best, a little bit of sugar rush for Bryce Young, and then might be back to the mean. I think he still can play better than what he was early on in the season, but I think Arizona is the wrong team to try to go play spoiler against. This is when Arizona guts up, is times when you think they might get caught, and then the times you have confidence in them, that's when they get caught. They don't lose games like this generally, and I think Kyler's going to run all over Carolina right now, so I'm going to go Arizona. Detroit favored by 6.5 going to Chicago. I got Detroit. Even when half their team is missing on defense, they still put up 42 points and could have beat any other team except Buffalo last week. So it's not as if magically they're going to go to Chicago and just lose and drop it to a team that knows their season's over, that knows a lot of the team isn't going to be there next year, and it isn't worthwhile for them. So I'm going to take Detroit. I think it's going to be another sad Christmas weekend in Chicago for Bears fans. Tennessee at Indianapolis. Indianapolis favored by 3.5. I will be taking Indianapolis in this one. They can't get out of their own way, and they shoot themselves in the foot. But you know who does that better? Tennessee. Tennessee is uninteresting. I'm just so disinterested in what they're doing. Will Levis got benched. Who knows if he's going to play again? I don't know if he will. I think they might just start Mason Rudolph just to try to get some positivity towards the end of the year. I don't know why they do that because he should be playing for a higher draft pick at this point, but that's just my interpretation. So I would say ride it out with Will Levis. But yeah, they just don't have much of anything to go off of. And yet they have these little spurts like against Cincinnati where they're making plays and doing stuff. Then they just shoot themselves in the foot, and it's awful. But I'll be taking Indianapolis in this one. Rams favored by 3.5 going to the Jets. I will be taking the Rams. I know Aaron Rodgers is playing a lot better. We saw the monster Devontae Adams connection game that everyone was hoping to see earlier in the season. But the Rams are rolling right now. They're really playing at a high level. They're out-toughing opponents. Last week was a little rough, but San Francisco is always going to be a tough game. No matter what, even if they're down this year, they're still a tough team to play. You could even see that in games, being in person to watch them against Green Bay when they were completely outmatched. There were still moments where you're like, oh, shit, like, this is a tough team. It's hard to beat them. So I'm going to take the Rams here. I think they can easily take out the Jets' defense and outscore the offense of the Jets. It's that simple. Philadelphia favored by 3.5 going to Washington. I'm done doubting Philly. It pains me because I hate the Eagles, and I truly believe this: America's a better country when the Eagles lose. But having said that, Washington has shown that they are a wild card level team. They're not a division winner level team. Would it be glorious for me to see that happen? That the Philadelphia Eagles lose to the Commanders? Yes. Is it going to? Probably not. They're rolling on all cylinders right now. Jalen Hurts is finally starting to connect with A.J. Brown a bit more. Their passing attack did come to life last time. They are a tough out. Unless you are one of the 4 or 5 premier teams, it's going to be tough to beat Philly. It's just that simple, so I'm going to take Philly in this game. And then Minnesota favored by 3 going to Seattle. Who knows if Geno's even going to play, especially after that outing where Seattle got manhandled by Green Bay last week. The first 2 drives, it was pretty much Matt LaFleur just going, hey, I dare you to try to stop our running attack. And they couldn't. And anytime they would sell out to try to do it, that's when the play action would come into play and Jordan would just dice them up. Seattle's defense cannot handle this until second half adjustments kick in, and then they still get beat in other ways. Minnesota doesn't have the same rushing attack Green Bay does, but they have a more splash-oriented, spark plug passing attack in which it's just, oh, I think we're good. Oh, shit, we got beat for 65 yards downfield by Jordan Addison or Justin Jefferson. That's what Minnesota does right now. I'll be taking Minnesota. Jacksonville going to the Raiders. The Raiders are favored by 1 simply because we have Mac Jones still playing for Jacksonville. Can I pick no team? Can I pick a tie? I'd do that. I am forced by show policy to pick the Raiders. I would never want to pick the Raiders, but we made the policy early on. We stick with the policy. We stick with the rules. Till the Jacksonville Jaguars show to be playing competent, consistent football, they cannot be picked. And this entire year, they've shown they cannot play competent, consistent football because they're owned by a bunch of fucking marks who have no idea what they're doing. Plain and simple. I guess I'm taking the Raiders here. I guess. This game could literally be 6-3. Who the fuck knows? But I'll be taking Las Vegas here. San Francisco at Miami. Miami favored by 1. I guess I'll take Miami. It's a home game. They're still got some flash and pizzazz. San Francisco just isn't the same team that they used to be. They're injured. They're tired, and I think Miami's going to take this one. I know they got beat on the last gasp last week, but still, I'm going to take Miami here. This is a game that should have been super interesting at the beginning of the year, and now you're like, I need to watch it. All right, Tampa favored by 4 going to Dallas. What a Sunday night game prior to the holidays for us. I'll be taking Tampa. I don't care if Dallas is showing effort or doing things. They're going to get boat raced by Baker Mayfield downfield to Mike Evans. And if it's not him, it's going to be somebody else. It's just what Baker does to teams that don't have a passing defense. I will easily take Tampa, and it will be a good night for all Cowboy haters in the world because just like the Eagles, I think America's a better country when the Cowboys lose. So, we're going to go Tampa Bay on that one. And finally, Monday Night Football. The New Orleans Saints are going to Green Bay for Monday night before Christmas. And I can tell you this, it just snowed. I'm looking out at the lake right now, and it's starting to freeze. It's starting to get cold up here in Wisconsin. And I don't know if the Bayou Boys could play in that. Green Bay is favored by 14. I hate point spreads like that because that usually just sets you up for failure. However, the Saints are really bad. So I don't think Derek Carr is going to ever play for the rest of the season. I think they might make 2 drives interesting because they're starting to play pseudo-competent football, but they're just not that good. Straight up, they're old and not that good. And Green Bay is feeling themselves right now, especially after that win in Seattle where they just went, this game's over within the first 10 minutes. It was abundantly clear that game was over in the first 10 minutes. Those first 2 drives by Green Bay were just, hey, we're going to run the ball down your throat, and it's over. And Jordan Love's feeling really good again. He's feeling super confident, you can tell. And he's putting a ball, the magic of Jordan Love is he plays similar to Brett Favre, in which if he feels the guy's got an opportunity, he's going to throw it. He just will. He does. Whereas Aaron was far more, and still is, a little bit more risk averse. And unless he's super confident he can get the ball in there, he just won't throw it. Jordan will throw it. He's like, I think the guy can catch it. But if you're seeing the shots that he's taking now, early on it was more so of, I see it, I'm throwing it. And it wasn't always the best decision. Now he's throwing that, but he's putting it in the only spot possible where the receiver can get it and the defender can't. I would spot you in the Seattle game, the Christian Watson throw, where if it doesn't work out, it's an incomplete pass and it's no big deal. The Romeo Doubs throw at the end of the game, it's I'm going to perfectly touch this to where if Romeo can make a play, it's a touchdown. If he can't, nothing bad's going to happen. It was a perfectly thrown ball in that case, and you're starting to see exactly what happened last year. Jordan Love feeling himself at the end of the year, playing mistake-free football, playing really well. So I'm going to go with Green Bay here to get us into a happy holiday week here for those of us Packer fans in Green Bay, Wisconsin, or around the great state of Wisconsin as we are. So that is it for the show. I hope you guys enjoyed the game picks, and I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season. Stay tuned for some super cool content that we have coming out. We got some specialty podcasts coming out. Go check out the Wisco Movie Watchers podcast. We got a lot of cool stuff coming your way in that. You can see some movie reviews and other things, as well as some other content that we have coming to the channel. And stay tuned in the new year because we got even more new content coming your way. But beyond anything, go watch a good football game and enjoy your weekend and go enjoy your holiday season. Peace, love, and hugs to you all. Bye-bye!